What do you expect in this game on Sunday?
This is going to be a great game. If you go back the last 5 years, I think there's only been two games where the end result was over 14 points. So they're always close games. They're built just alike. You take the colors off, they play very similar football. Big Ben coming back has been a much needed help from 2019. If you when you think about the Pittsburgh Steelers, you don't think about a ball control offense, but they lead the league in time of possession is almost 34 minutes a game. So that's not what you normally see. Having Tuitt back on the defensive side has helped the defense. We know how good Lamar Jackson is. How been dominant that he's been on the offensive side for the Ravens. Bringing Campbell over from Jacksonville has helped that defense. You got the number one scoring defense, and I think the Steelers are number like 5 or 6 scoring defense. It's going to be, and then you have one offense that's scoring 29.8 points a game, almost 30. Then you have one scoring 30.5 points a game. So this is going to be a well-fought contest. I think it's going to come down to the last possession, and it might be the key is who gets that one turnover or who makes that team punts more than 2 times.
How much should we be looking at Lamar Jackson in this game and really using that to judge or gauge where he is and how the level of maturity that he's putting forth at the quarterback position? My position has been, we know how tremendous of an athlete he is, how elusive he is, running on the field as a quarterback, just because he could run better than most running backs, and crying out loud. One of the greatest runners we've ever seen at the quarterback position, if not the greatest. But I still want to see him throw the football effectively, and I think that we need to see that in this game in order to judge him appropriately. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think that's a good comment, Stephen. It's, you look at, what Greg Roman has done with this offense for Lamar Jackson. To me, Lamar Jackson is going to throw the ball well during the regular season. I think Lamar Jackson is going to be more. We all believe, unless the wheels fall off of both these teams will be in the postseason. I think Lamar Jackson is going to be more graded and looked at in the postseason. He's thrown the ball well during the regular of the season. Both these teams have always played well. He's always played well against the Steelers for the most part. But I think once they get to the postseason, that's when we're going to start looking at Lamar Jackson and saying, okay, is it going to be like year 1 and year 2? Or we're going to see a Lamar Jackson that's grown and it's more mature in the postseason, because we know that the level itself is increased. I think Lamar Jackson is going to play do extremely well tonight, against the Steelers. He's a good player. He's a dynamic player. The one thing that their offense does more than any other offense in the National Football League, they make sure that the defense, everybody's on point. Everybody has to understand their assignments, because if you're one assignment off and too many guys go into the ball, Lamar Jackson's going to pull it in those RPOs and zone reads and take off down the middle of the field or on the sideline, and you won't catch him.
Speaking of RPOs, that hasn't been working as well for the Steelers. But Roethlisberger, and Stephen A. brought this up the other day, he goes from a guy early in his career who held the ball. He held the ball forever. He's a big, strong guy, a football player, to a guy who's getting rid of the ball quickly. So as all great players, he's evolved over time. Where do you think Roethlisberger is now? I know he's coming off the catastrophic injury, missed a year, but where do you think he is now compared to him at his best? How close is he?
I was asked this last year, who's the best quarterback in Steeler history? And I said Terry Bradshaw. But then when I look at how Ben has played this year and how he's transformed his game after the major injury, I'm going with Big Ben. Is this to the fact that he's always been throwing the ball down the field. He's an accurate thrower. He's a big body guy. Obviously, when we get older as players, you don't want to take those hits in the pocket as a quarterback. And he's done a tremendous job of getting rid of the football. I mean, just the way they march down the field and control the tempo of the game and keep the opposing offense on the sideline is a benefit to the defense. And then the defense comes in more refreshed, and then they play at a lights out level. So, I look at the history of what the Steelers have done. I look at the history of what Terry Bradshaw has done. But Big Ben is the best quarterback the Pittsburgh Steelers have ever had, just for the fact that he has transformed himself to a down the field thrower, holding on to the ball extremely longer than he had to at times, to getting rid of the football when he coming back from that injury from last year. I just think that he is the catalyst of that offense. And as he goes, the offense will go.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because 7 of his touchdowns, he's gotten rid of the ball inside of 2 seconds. So I definitely get where you're coming from. That's a good point on your part. I will ask you about the Steelers secondary, though. And I always bring this up because Mike Tomlin, my brother, he always gotten on me.
Get off this.
Listen, let me explain. Their defense overall is no joke. And Rod, you can appreciate this because you were so elite at playing the position. You can have athleticism. You can have speed. You can have knowledge. My problem with the Steelers secondary has religiously been they too damn short. I mean, they're just too damn short,
for
bro.
years.
I mean, I've been harping on this for years because in the end, on many occasions, when you tell me I'm wrong about this, Rod, when you watch the Steelers and they end up giving a good play, it's rare that they're not around the ball. It's rare that they've missed the coverage or an assignment or anything like that. It's just somebody was able to go up and get it compared to them because of those daggone short corners. What do you say to that, Rob?
Okay, my question to you would be, what is short in the National Football League as a corner?
Right.
To me, I guess if you 5'10",
what's your
if you less than 5'10", how about that?
Well, I mean, first of all, Mika is a baller at safety.
No, I'm not talking about him.
Secondly, most outstanding corners are all around 5'10", 5'11". When you start getting over 6 foot for a corner, they're different dynamics come into play. Now, with the Steelers and the way they play, it's all about their rush, their linebackers and their secondary. Your rush helps your secondary, helps your coverage, and your coverage helps your rush. That's been the philosophy with the Pittsburgh Steelers since Chuck Noll was there.
Yep.
Bill Cowher. And now Mike Tomlin.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.